Hello, y'all. Just got back from Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Had a crappy day at work. I mean, it wasn't that bad. It got crazy towards the end, though. But yeah, today was interesting. So this video was a question by another subscriber, and this was a very good question. And I was like, you know what? This is a video. So the question was by Irvin Sanderson. I think he's been subscribed to me for a minute. It looks like, because he's commented on my past videos as well. Shout out to you, Irvin. Thanks for giving me this question. I have had this conversation so many times with people. As a matter of fact, I had this same topic popped up when I was in one of Gamesta's Xbox Live parties, and we had a whole conversation about this topic. And for the most part, we were all on the same boat. Keep in mind, everybody in that party was black. All right, keep that in mind. Now, the question Irvin had was, what are my thoughts on representation of people of color and women in media? And do I feel the same way about that as I do with the LGBT representation? Good, very good question. You know, it's recent times. It's weird. You know, I'm not that old, but you know, in my younger years, I remember everything just being diverse from the start. You know, I grew up loving so many different characters of different races, different genders, and different sexualities even. You know, it's my favorite fighting game character, Venom from Guilty Gear, for example. He's gay. And he's been there since day one, almost, I think. I don't think he was in the first Guilty Gear, but later on down, like, he was in there for a long time, okay? And he was done very well. Not once did they have to throw the fact that he was gay at you every 2 seconds. But that's the problem with media today. They're constantly throwing that at you. You don't have to do that. If a character's gay, you gotta just say it once, put some mannerisms in there, and that's it. But if you're constantly throwing it at people, that's when it becomes a problem. Okay? That's what you should not do. Guilty Gear even has a trans character that was in there for the longest time. Now, that's not a common thing because, not many people are, not that many people are trans. That's not normal. That's not a normal occurrence, okay? That's a very little amount of people. Now, when it comes to black people, funny enough, Venom is also black. Venom's black. See what I mean? You see what I mean? And then you got the argument of women being represented. I'm gonna tell you right now, two of my most favorite video game characters of all time. Number one is Raziel, as y'all probably know by my community posts. Number two is Samus Aran. I've loved Samus Aran since I was like a small child. She's so freaking cool. Like there are so many female characters I grew up loving. Tina Armstrong from Dead or Alive, along with Helena. Most of the females in Dead or Alive are freaking awesome. Their fighting styles are incredible. Okay, that game is fun as hell. And then you got Lara Croft, and then you got Storm from the X-Men, who was the leader of the X-Men, and she's black. She's also black. She was the leader of the X-Men, and she's also an African woman. Okay? Like, what other characters? Damn near all the females from Mass Effect. Like, I'll tell you again, I beat Mass Effects 1, 2, and 3 like 50 times each. Okay? All the women in Mass Effect have something about them I like. Dude, I can go on and on and on. What was that Green Lantern's name? John Stewart. He's another one. Black. That was the Green Lantern I grew up with. I grew up with. I didn't even know there was a white Green Lantern for a minute when I first found out about John Stewart. And then I found out there's a whole army of Green Lanterns. I was like, oh, that's an organization. Okay. I was a little kid. I didn't know any better. But that was the Green Lantern I grew up with. The black one. John Stewart. And he was freaking awesome. Okay? Spawn, he's another one. Spawn, black guy. And he was made by a white guy. Come on. Like, I feel like a lot of people come up with this narrative that women or black people aren't represented because they don't. I don't think they really look into all these different types of media. You know, like, look, my list of fighting games, RPGs, video games, cartoon shows. Look, man, I've come to know a lot of characters. Okay, there's plenty of black characters and there's plenty of great female characters, and for some reason, people are acting like there isn't. We gonna just pretend like Blade doesn't exist? Did you forget about those movies? Blade? That kind of was like what that's what made uh that opened the doorway for the MCU, basically, for Marvel movies. Blade. Like, he was the first Marvel hero to get a movie that was like, really good like that. Okay? But people act like it doesn't exist. But Black Panther comes out and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's like the first black Marvel hero to ever have a movie. No. People were actually saying that Black Panther was the first black Marvel hero to have a movie for himself. Like, do you live under a rock? And there's people older than me saying that. How do I know this and you don't? And like, dude, what? There's never been a time where I felt women or black people were not represented enough. Starfire, Raven, hello? Freaking Wonder Woman, Black Cat in the Spider-Man animated series. I'll even bring up the Power Rangers, for crying out loud. Everybody loved all the Power Rangers, including the females. Okay, like, and when it comes to video games, man, I could go on and on and on. There's too many characters to list. I'll name characters you probably never even heard about. Jam Corrado Berry, Hitomi, Chun-Li. If you don't know who Chun-Li is, you're living under a rock. Okay, you're living under a rock. Cammy White. Okay, come on. Ling Xiao Yu. Come on now. Women are represented more than enough. And for anybody to sit there and say they're not, you don't know what the frick you're talking about. You need to get out and touch some grass. You need to seriously get out of whatever rock you're living under and touch some grass. I'm serious. Now, my big issue with the black representation, though, and now this is coming from a black man. You're hearing this right now. Look, I hate how prideful black people get just because of the fact that they're black. And I think this has clouded their mind to the point where they see, for some reason, they believe we're not being represented enough. My guy, there are so many black characters I have come to love over the years. Don't give me that crap. Don't tell me that, because I'm gonna make you look stupid. You gonna sit here and tell me Static Shock doesn't exist? You gonna sit there and tell me Static Shock never existed? Hmm. I already mentioned Spawn. Spawn is too freaking cool for you not to like. Come on, bro. Again, Storm. And then you got Spike, who was from the X-Men animated series as well. Who was another black character. I liked Spike. He was cool. Freaking. Honestly, there's so many characters I can't even list them off the top of my head because now in my mind is like it's racing. Like, yeah. Bottom line is we got to stop making up that stupid narrative that there's not enough of this and not enough of that. Okay. Now, when it comes to the LGBT thing, now I don't. I'm not gonna say I feel the same way as I do when it comes to black and female representation in media because there's a lot more black people and women than there are LGBT. Okay, because look, let's face it, being gay, trans, and every whatever the heck else everything else is, isn't it's not that common. Being straight is much more common. Okay, so it's not really an issue. I can't relate to that. I don't really care. But when it's constantly thrown at my face in a terrible manner, that's when I have an issue with it. Anytime there was a gay character done right, I never had a problem with that. You know, it's whatever. But the narrative of black people and women not being represented in media is a blatant lie. And anybody that says they are not represented or have not been represented, again, touch some freaking grass. Okay? I think that's my answer to that question. Touch grass if you seriously think that there isn't enough black or female representation in media. There's been plenty of it for as long as I can remember. All right? Come on now, people. Come on. Deuces.